Good day to all of you. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 or 250, and of course on facebook.com/OneNewsPH. And on YouTube, you can watch us by entering OneNewsPH. Okay, today is the shopping day, the sale day sa Amerika. Okay, yung sinatawag nilang 11/11, November 11, 2020. It's a Wednesday, and a number of people have been, I don't know, they've just been posting it on Facebook, 11/11 sale, etc. Pero alam nyo naman dito sa Pilipinas, medyo yung sale, parang yung maximum retail price, binawasan lang para yung suggested retail price, binawasan lang at papalabasing sale. Medyo, I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic, I'm being cynical, but in any case, I've seen that time and again. You know, yung pupunta ka, sabi sale, pagkatas nakaligtaan yung, yung price tag, at makikita mo ay tinamaan ng ewan, akala ko pa naman sale, yung pala inalis lang do sa maximum price nila. In any case, that will be the situation in America, but chances are everyone is going to be buying online. I picked up something last night. A lot of those companies will be selling stuff on sale, even here in the Philippines, on sale, kasi malapit na yung expiry date. Just a word of caution to our friends. Kasi po, marami sa atin, we like to store things in our pantry, in our cabinet, in our bodega. And you know, my beloved wife has taught me about expiry date. Kasi ako noon, sorry, I'm just being honest and transparent here. Nung bata tayo, kung hindi bumubukol yung dilata, okay pa yan. Kung walang amoy, okay pa yan, di ba? But nowadays, you know, if you're going to wait for the can to distort or the product to discolor or for the chemicals to separate, I think you are tempting fate. You won't get COVID. You will probably die of botulism or food poisoning. But in any case, please pay attention. Doon po sa gilid, in the bottom, on the side of these cans, jars, etc., there's usually an expiry date. There are numbers. Okay? Maski po sa gulong ng kotse, merong expiry date. Hindi, sa gulong, may date of production. Because here in the Philippines, we don't pay much attention to that. But you know, I have friends giving me tires. Sabi, yung isa nga, kamag-anak ko, Kuya, bigyan na kita, magpapalit ako ng gulong eh. Maganda itong gulong, hindi kalbo, maganda pa ang thread. Sabi ko, ilang taon na? 5 years. So, sige, ikaw na lang. Baka mamaya tumakbo ko 100 sa SLEX eh. Matigok pa ako. So pay attention to the expiry dates because there are some companies, you know, they know that by 2021, first quarter, their products will be labeled expired, so they're going to go on sale. But if you're the type of person who hoards, ay nako, baka matuluyan pa po kayo or you might lose a lot of money. Today, we're going to be interviewing people running businesses, very varied business, but first, we are going to interview an official of the DepEd kasi medyo napapag-usapan. There seems to be some concern. First, what's going to happen to education in the Bicol region after Typhoon Rolly? Especially since connectivity even before Rolly internet connectivity was already a problem. So now, with Typhoon Rolly essentially devastating Bicol region, what's going to happen? Some people are suggesting no classes sa 2021 na lang magkita, etc. And then, of course, there are issues of para bang may mga teachers group daw or professionals who are observing stress points in the education curriculum process, and they are saying maybe we should give the teachers, the principals, the leeway to decide what is essential and what is optional. Kumbaga, sila na ang dumiskarte, ano yung dapat alisin, pero hindi dapat alisin. Okay. Then after that, we will speak to a regular here on agenda, George Royeca, Chief Transport Advocate of Angkas. And then susundan siya ng kaibigan nating si Noli Eala, Vice President naman for Corporate Affairs of Joyride. Kasi nung nag-uumpisa sila, medyo siyempre may kiskisan, di ba? May angasan. Pero ngayon they're both in the same boat and now they both are fighting for their businesses to be on the road and stay on the road. So we will speak to both of them and hopefully we will see what has happened in America happen here dun sa mga businesses. Nagsusuportahan ka. Tulong-tulungan na sila. Wala na yung, hindi, we're better. They're lousy, etc. Wala na nun. Parang sa kanila, as long as all these businesses stay afloat and people have jobs, that is what they're all working at, and we hope to see that in the Philippines. Last but not the least, baka magtaka kayo, no? I am bringing in one of the country's most well-known game fowl breeder. Pag hindi nyo alam yung game fowl breeder, ay nagpapalain ng mga pansabong. At sasabihin, Cito naman, napaka high class o hindi naman high class, hindi naman tayo high class eh. Bangketa boy nga tayo eh. Sino ba naman ito nagte-text sa akin na ito? In any case, interview natin si Martin Escolin ng Green Country Game Farm. Kasi alam niyo po, nung na-interview ko noon si Commissioner Baham Mitra, nung Games and Amusements Board, he said something that struck me. He said that the people in NEDA and some people within the DOF, although they were open-minded, they clearly had no idea regarding the extent, the contribution of sabong to the economy. And very few people understood na bilyon-bilyon piso, hindi po sa sugal. Doon po sa industriya of gamot, feeds, gamit, farms, electricity, water, employment, etc. So we'll speak to Martin Escolin. So ayan po yung lineup natin. But first, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. And let's take a look at the front page. And at the top of the page, storm signals are up. Thousands evacuated as Typhoon Ulysses nears. Diyan po sa Bicol, 400,000 sa Albay ang in-evacuate na kasi baka lumala na naman yung gulong, yung dalusdos ng mga lahar, ng mga bato. Okay? Metro, as of this morning, Metro Manila, Rizal, Laguna, Quezon, and some provinces in Bicol are already under signal number 2. On the right side of the front page, we also see a photo of the new Black Hawks for the Philippine Air Force. Ayan po, no? Sana naman walang lalabas na mga istorya na pang-training lang yan o hindi multi-role, multi-purpose air helicopters yan. So we will find out about that. The banner story, of course, the good news. Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine proves 90% effective. Sa sobrang ganda po ng balita na yan, with such a positive outcome, the stocks of Pfizer and other related stocks went up. Talagang boom! Kasi biglang nagbilihan ng mga tao ng shares ng Pfizer kasi sabi nila, naku, paglabas niyang share ng Pfizer na yan, ay ng vaccine ng Pfizer na yan, ay siguradong yung kumpanya sikat na naman. Because Pfizer has a long history in medicine, pharmaceuticals, and they've had rough patches in the past, but I think COVID-19 will be their saving grace for the 2021. Okay, now moving on, the lower part of the front page, we have the photo, President Duterte meeting with the accused or immigration officials allegedly involved in the Pastilla scam. Medyo marami po sa atin magkakamot ng ulo. Bakit mo pa miniting President Duterte kung sila na yung mga naakusahan? At saka hindi po ito, this is not a simple case of accusation. You have two people within that group, within the Bureau of Immigration, who basically narrated, listed, documented who were involved and how big this corruption within the Bureau of Immigration was as far as frontline is concerned. Okay. So, medyo parang, bakit minute mo pa? And then the interesting point, if you read or see, if you have that front page, they placed the Malacanang version of pastillas in every chair dedicated for those Bureau of Immigration suspects, no? Nilagyan ng pastillas yung kada silya. Pero yung pastillas daw, laman pera. So, magkakamot ka. Bakit? Sabi raw ni Presidente, mili kayo, kainin nyo yung pera o humanap kayo ng pagbibigyan yung pulubi paglabas nyo ng Malacanang. Nako po, ewan ko, medyo, I don't know, I'm sure spokesperson Harry Roque will be asked many questions regarding that scenario. Parang weird. I mean, I don't know, maybe they're highlighting the campaign against corruption, but if you wanted to highlight the campaign against corruption, it would have been better if they were marched handcuffed going to the detention center, whatever. I'm not judging them. Pero, di ba, kung visuals lang ang hinahanap nyo o imaging, parang pinakain mo, binigyan mo pa ng dessert. In any case, okay, let's move forward. On the right side of the page, new PNP Chief Debold Sinas, who has formally assumed position, told to step up the war on drugs. Tapos ito po yung malungkot. A few weeks ago, the Philippines was reportedly a safer place for journalists. Not again, kasi a journalist was gunned down in Villasis town in Pangasinan. At the lower half of the front page, we see new hotels allowed to operate, suggested retail prices maintained from last year's rates and UP's announcements to cancel, and UP, sorry, UPs. Kasi ang dami biglang pumasok ditong mga tawag, no? UP's announcement to cancel UPCAT due to the pandemic. Kahapon naman po, napag-usapan natin yan, napag-usapan natin na hindi itutuloy ng UP yung usual UPCAT test kasi labo nga naman. In any case, let's move on to our interviews. Tanungin na natin si sandali. Okay. Tanungin na natin si Undersecretary and Chief of Staff of the Office of the Secretary of the State of the Department of Education, Nepomuceno Malaluan. Yusek Malaluan, good morning po.
Yes, magandang umaga sa iyo, Sir Cito, and to all your televiewers.
Okay, mukhang sinisipon ka. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're okay. Mukhang pagod.
No, I'm okay.
Talaga kayo. Kayo naman dyan sa DepEd, talagang lahat kayo pagod gulpi. Going straight to the discussion, first, the concern is for the Bicol region. Yes. There is no power, no communication, a lot of infrastructure damage. What's the strategy or plan of the DepEd for students and teachers in Bicol region?
Well, what we have seen ay ibig sabihin kahit tayo ay distance learning, we are not immune to disasters as we have experienced, and obviously there is disruption even in home-based learning. pagka may ganito mga disasters. As you mentioned, infrastructure and damages to the homes. And our teachers also, including our students. So medyo magkakaroon yan ng differential resumption of classes. It will be area by area, uh, depending on the local situation. Ang nadi-disrupt din kasi, aside from the online or digital platform natin, is also yung distribution and retrieval of printed modules and activity sheets. So
Mhm.
we continues yung monitoring namin. We have two undersecretaries that are in the Bicol region now, and there will be a meeting this afternoon where we will get a clearer picture on the class situation. We have the damage situation and schools used as evacuation centers still, but the class situation is a key concern, as you mentioned, Cito.
Yeah, but what do you think, Yusek? Ano ba? Kasi may mga nag-suggest 2021 na raw, lalo na dun sa Kamsur yata. Sabi, January 2021 na lang mag-resume. I think these are, local officials, hindi DepEd officials. Local officials were saying, parang 2021 na lang umpisa problemahin yung pag-aaral kasi right now, ang pinoproblema natin, kuryente, at saka yung mga nawalan ng bahay na I think over 100,000 have lost their homes there for the entire region. So what is the position of DepEd as far as that suggestion is concerned?
As I mentioned, Sito, it will be, ibig sabihin, differential treatment ang mangyayari dito depending on the final assessment that we will receive from our regions and divisions. And
Mm.
we're getting that information, but I do not see that there will be a wholesale suspension of all learning activities between now and November. That will be a major disruption in the class program natin.
Mhm.
So it's a major decision that would, if ever something like that will be done, we're still not through with November and December. So not even the first quarter, Sito,
Oo.
first quarter is up to December 5. So that will be a major disruption if that will happen.
Mhm.
But uh, but just the same, we are not underestimating the extent of the damage and recovery that has to happen with the lives of our, not just our learners but also our
Mm.
teachers. So we need a clearer report on that aspect from our field officials. And as I mentioned, we also sent two of our undersecretaries to the ground in Bicol. And I am sure that the consultation will include our local government units and a feel of the actual situation on the ground. But right now, as I mentioned, it's a major decision, and we are not prepared at this point to say that suspension. The most as of now is it will be a differential treatment depending on the
Yung ano,
local situation.
yung differential treatment in plain English is case to case basis.
Yes,
Kung
that's correct.
may mga bayan o barangay na okay, tuloy. But won't this also present a complication for the program, for the DepEd program? And I'm not trying to be difficult about this, Yusek, no?
Yes.
Parang it's an innocent question kasi
Mm.
yung sabi mo nga, mahirap naman yung wholesale pakyawan na wala ng
Mm.
klase, pero may mga magsasabi naman, mahirap din na, pulu-pulutong, or you have pockets of
Mm.
education and you have pockets of non-education or no schooling, and what will happen is, paano na next school year? Merong
Uh,
grupo na continue, may grupo na left behind.
No, usually pagka ganyan ay meron tayo na kung maliit lang ay may makeup classes, may remediation process. But as you can see, this is a different situation as I mentioned dahil
Mhm.
na-atras na nga itong ating school year. It will end sometime in June, and that pushes us back for the school year 2020-2021. But kung yung sinabi natin na case by case ay at least ay narrower yung ating adjustment that will have to be done rather than a big section. Like let's say if you say region 5, then that's quite a big area. So uh, we will see, but the standard protocol is that there will be remediation and makeup because we will not, in other words, the curriculum ay ni-reduce na nga natin yan to the most essential learning competencies for this year, and to further uh, eh, reduce it, and the learning time allocation will really compromise very heavily na the learning or instructional time for the students, especially challenge na nga tayo dahil it's not the usual instruction na face to face.
Okay. Now, what are the chances that there will be no summer vacation for our students? Kasi, 'di ba, na-push back yung school year 2020, na-push back to June kamo, nag-late pa, nag-October pa. Pagkatapos, eto na naman, may mga bagyo, etc. What are the chances that next year, next school year 2021, sorry children, no vacation kasi maraming nawala.
Una, wala na nga yung summer vacation because it is not summer anymore. Hindi na ito Mayo because our classes will extend to the first, if I recall correctly, first week or even first 2 weeks of June.
Hmm.
And then the following school year there will be that election period pa. So but one thing that regardless of the vaccine, we're looking strategically already at the possibility of a blended learning, even if face to face is included. In other words, we will be combining face to face and distance learning, given some of the learnings that we are having now. But just one point, Sito, if I may,
Go ahead. Go
uh,
ahead.
uh, kahit ganito yung eh, uh, sinusuong natin ng mga challenges and a lot of contingent considerations for this school year, extraordinary school year, we are not losing sight of the bigger picture of our push for quality kasi yung ating analysis and deepening of the analysis of our PISA results are ongoing, and our preparations for PISA used to be 2021 but has been pushed back to 2022 by agreement of the participating countries ay hindi natin it's not stopping. So what I'm just saying is, while we are dealing with the immediate problems of this year, we are not losing sight of the bigger picture in the education system. And in fact, itong mga natututunan natin dito sa distance learning ay it is contributing to the refinement of the broader and more strategic education reforms that are happening, including curriculum review, yung training of teachers natin, and of course yung learning environment, because ngayon ay nag-iba ang konsepto ng learning space natin, na datihan ay naka-confine sa classroom and schools, whereas
Hmm.
now ay nadagdagan yung na-expand itong learning space natin to include the home, community spaces, and the virtual space. So these are major things that we feel on the upside of what is happening. It's a very challenging time, but there is an upside also to this with respect to the adjustments that have to be made in the medium and longer term.
Okay, now I have a note here that last October 30, the agency's Curriculum and Instruction Office released a memo giving recommendations aimed to reduce stress and anxiety, which include allowing schools to identify activities in learning modules that could be made optional, so students could put more time on the most essential activities. When we were starting this whole process, Yusek Malaluan, I was given the impression na it would be a bare minimum curriculum, meaning only essential subjects, aalisin na lahat yung mga sobrang daming mga add-ons and parang math, science, piling-pili na lang. What is the situation right now for the students?
Well, yung learning areas natin or subjects hindi nabawasan. Ang binawasan natin ay ni-streamline natin yung full curriculum to what we call the most essential learning competencies.
Yeah.
Ang binabanggit dito na gawing optional is not the essential learning competencies but the activities ng mga bata. Halimbawa, sobrang haba ng activity sheets na binibigay, sobrang dami ng questions, ay maaring bawasan yan without compromising, as we mentioned, the most essential learning competencies. And there is a reason for that dahil kahit yung aming mga regional directors in our MANCOM meetings ay nagsasabi ng mga reports na merong mga binabalik na activity sheets na hindi nasasagot fully yung mga questions, and yung time that is given within the week kasi binibigay yan for the start of the week and then they have to return the activity sheets towards the end of the week ay mayroong mga hindi natatapos. And
Mm.
and of course may mga nagsasabi din na may mga bata at magulang na nagsasabi na nahihirapan sila. So this is an adjustment and a calibration that we are doing. And in fact, even the private school are doing so. Yung iba, ang haba dati ng online time nila, but we know that there have been some adjustments also that have to be made. So we have to find some equilibrium level as we do this, and there will be adjustments along the way. Halimbawa, kung mag-introduce in certain areas ng limited face-to-face some in next year, if that will happen, so there will be further adjustments that will have to be made. So ganun lang yung punto nitong measures na pinalabas ng ating curriculum and instruction. The other adjustment that was included in that memorandum by the Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction is yung the option of integrating various learning competencies into single or streamlined activity. In other words, for example, reading and mathematics activities can be combined kung mayroong mga competencies in reading and writing that go with, let's say, teaching a certain mathematical concept. So including in integration by certain teachers just to be able to streamline the activities that are assigned to those that are having difficulty both at the learner level and the household level.
So lumalabas sa USEC na true to expectation, may mga magulang talaga or marami-rami sigurong magulang ang medyo nahihirapan magturo or saluhin yung pagtuturo sa mga anak, particularly on the lower level of the economy. And so that is causing a lot of delay in the processing of the programs.
Yes, that's correct. Yun na nga ang as I mentioned, one of the report na that is shared with us by the regional directors, a report of some of the divisions na may mga feedback from schools na marami ang hindi nakakapag-submit ng completed activity sheet. So
Yeah.
uh,
But
yeah,
but what are
so
what is the DepEd planning to do about this? Kasi may mga nagsabi nga, sir, hindi nga ako nakatapos ng high school. Tapos ako pa magtuturo sa mga anak ko. This is a big problem. What is being done to address it?
well, first is hindi lahat ng it's a misconception that the learning process necessarily requires instructional supervision by the parents. Kaya nga ang tawag dito sa mga modules ay self-learning modules. A big part
Mm.
of it is a self-directed learning by the students at
Oo.
usually ang kailangan sa mga magulang ay yung kanilang support in motivating the children to do their class work at appropriate time and to provide them with a conducive learning space at home at wag na silang sumama sa pag-istorbo dun sa mga bata. Pero
Mm.
merong iba na mga bata tayo na hindi pa, and this is cuts across grade levels, na hindi pa sanay lalo na sa early grades doon sa directed learning at kailangan talaga ng instructional supervision. At doon tayo may mga adjustments that are being made. Halimbawa, we already authorized the hiring of a learning support aides to assist the teachers na mas makatutok even
Meron,
remotely
yeah,
in
meron ba
some
tayo?
of these
Yeah.
households.
Meron ba tayo, Yusek Malaluan? Kasi siguro nakita mo na rin yan abroad, no? Lalo na sa Amerika. May mga funny videos may mga katatawang mga video na sinishare sa Facebook. Yung bata biglang tatawag sa 911, tatawag sa police department o kaya sa fire station. Tapos akala ng mga tao merong sunog o merong aksidente. Tapos sasabihin, I need help in my arithmetic or I need help in my science project, yung mga ganon. And I was just thinking, meron ba tayong ganyang mga call centers or mga hotlines na pwedeng tawagan itong mga magulang na ito and are prepared to, be compassionately assist whether it's a child or it's a parent na nalilito?
One is yung instructional partnership, yung teacher may advising or may class talaga siya, ay may ganun na yung arrangement. In fact, they have usually may mga group chats yan between the teachers and the parents. But there are some local programs, not a general centralized program, but there are local programs, as you mentioned, itong mga health mechanisms, and we know
Mm.
some of the in certain divisions or in local government areas that have this mechanism, a help desk in effect
Yeah.
for teachers, but that is for parents and even students. But that is essentially the primary function of the assigned teacher. Dapat
Yeah,
talagang may
but
communication line siya
yeah,
doon
but
sa mga
Yusek,
magulang.
the reality is, and kasi alam mo, ako talagang radar yung tenga ko pagdating sa mga balita at sa mga interview. And I have heard time and again, your hardworking teachers of the DepEd, sinasabi hindi naman sa ngumangaw-ngaw sila or nagko-complain, Pero pag kinausap mo lang ng maayos, sila mismo magsasabi, naku po, yung araw ko po ubos na sa dami ng kakatawag ng bata, ng nanay, ng kasamang teacher. Nauubos na ho yung oras ko sa mga text pa lang at saka yung load ng mga telepono. That's why I was saying, maybe, and of course, this is new, so we won't fault the DepEd or anyone for that matter. Maybe it is something that needs to be injected in the system kasi kawawa rin naman yung mga teacher ninyo at ang DepEd, kung puro na lang tanong, araw-araw, bagdamag, hindi na rin makapagturo, hindi makapag-grade.
Mm. Well, as I mentioned, right now it's still some local programs. We can consider that on a general, but it is also not easy given the student population that we have. So even if we set up a call center like that na centralized, ay baka hindi, ibig sabihin, we have to really study the capacity. But I just want to mention na meron tayong TV broadcast ngayon ng mga lessons, and those schedules are given to the field for certain lessons, and these are meant to be a teacher. Meron kaming mga teacher broadcasters that we call them, and they develop these educational TV lessons, and that can be seen by our teachers, parents, and learners, and that should augment yung kanilang self-learning modules. In
Well,
fact,
that's fine.
yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I just hope you guys can inject also this call center kasi I've also taught. I've taught in DAP for almost 4 or 5 years, and I've noticed iba yung lecture, iba yung magsi-sit down ka ng estudyante at nagtatanong na sila ng detalye or naghingi silang clarification. In any case, Yusek, pasensya ka na, we've run out of time. Medyo mahaba-haba yung aking lineup today, but please keep us posted and let us know what will happen for Bicol kasi right now that's the focal point, what will happen to education in the Bicol region, especially with Ulysses coming in again. Mambabambo na naman. Thank you very much, Yusek Malaluan.
Yes, thank you very much, Sir Cito. Magandang umaga sa iyo and to all your viewers.
Okay, yan po si Undersecretary Malaluan, Nepo Malaluan ng DepEd. And let's all get behind the DepEd or any of all these agencies kasi it's a new thing. Marami hong binago, pagbabago, and maraming challenges and maraming mga deficiency. Katulad ganito, naglagay na nga sila ng teacher sa TV. But at the same time, yung mga teacher naman na actual na teacher are all saying or mostly saying, yung oras namin nauubos sa dami ng nagte-text na kailangan mong sagutin, isa-isa, nauubos sa kaka-explain online o sa cellphone, pati load namin nauubos, kumisan kami pa ang sarili na out of pocket na ang gastos. So if we had a helpline, regional helplines for all of those parents, and it may be new, it may be unusual, it may be not the way things are done, but we're talking about students. We are not talking about adults. We are not talking about bureaucracy. We're not talking about procedure. If the student does not know, can't understand, and their parents don't know and cannot explain, someone has to be there for them. And if our teachers are overloaded, we need to come up with other solutions and suggestions. Hindi naman po tayo nagbababag pag tayo ay nagbibigay ng suggestion. Let's try to have an open mind in all of this and let's support the DepEd kasi po talagang bog sarado. And by the way, let's keep praying for Bicol. We'll go for a break and when we come back, kausapin naman natin, mag-Metro Manila naman tayo, mga negosyo at mga serbisyo that need to be sustained and maintained and retained here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran. You are watching us via Signal TV, channels 8 and 250. And para dun sa hindi pa nagpapakabit, syempre, facebook.com/OneNewsPH or YouTube OneNewsPH. Now, puntahan po naman po natin one of our regular resource person, and he is the Chief Transport Advocate ng Angkas. We have with us George Royeca. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Sir Cito. Magandang umaga po sa lahat mga tagapagkinig nyo, sa tagapagkapanood nyo sa agenda. Good morning po.
Okay. George, what's our situation? Kamusta na ba kayo dyan sa Angkas? Kasi alam mo, parang hindi ko masyadong nakikita yung mga uniformadong riders ng Angkas. What's the situation? Could you give us an update?
Well, there's a very concrete light at the end of the tunnel, no? So hopefully any day now we're expecting sana po makonvene na yung technical working group ng DOTR. The other day po, nagkaroon po tayo ng press conference together with the National Task Force and DOTR. And si Secretary Vince Dizon po, release na po yung guidelines ng NTF for motorcycle taxi effective immediately. Nandun po si LTO Chief Asek Calvante and of course si USEC Asek Pastor ng DOTR, no, to say that they will be reconvening the technical working group para mapayuhan lahat ng mga operators on the technical guidelines and the COVID safety guidelines. So kung compliant po tayo dito, then we are able to run already. So kami naman po, nag-submit na po as of yesterday and today, lahat po ng mga COVID-19 and NTF and technical guidelines to assure the regulators and the public that we are compliant and we are ready to roll.
Okay, our experience, our adventure into this motorcycle taxi service has been stop go, limited population, etc., etc. When the IATF and the DOTR finally allows the motorcycle hailing groups to operate, will it be based on a limited number of vehicles? Meron ba in a particular period of time, parang katulad no nung ine-experiment nila?
I think po, sir, since this is an extension of the pilot and according to the NTF guidelines, it will be based po dun sa existing technical working group master list po ng TWG, no, for all of the different bikers that have already been onboarded. However, there are additional precautions, one of which is RT-PCR. So all of those bikers that wish to go out on the road need to be tested so that we make sure that they're negative. So yung po yung mga kondisyones apart from other things like bring your own helmet, cashless, and of course kailangan po NTF approved po yung barrier. So that gives you 4 layers of protection. You have the 2 helmets, ano po yan, at least 3/4 helmets pero full face yung visor. You have the 2 face masks and then meron po tayong barrier in between.
Okay, so yung RT-PCR, yun yung driver. The driver has to undergo swab testing.
Yes, sir. Tama po yan.
Okay. And who's going to pay for that?
So basically, sa kanya-kanyang operator na po, no? Kami naman po, we have our own and we also have a partnership with the government. So we do a hybrid model, no? But then that is paid for by us, it's not paid for the driver. And some of it po is paid for by the government as well. So as of today, we have about 3,000 bikers that have already been tested and are ready to go on the road.
How many again? Sorry, I missed that number.
3,000, Sir Cito.
Okay, 3,000 are ready, tested, etc. Pero parang pasensya ka na, George, no? Nawiwirdohan ako. I love saying that. Nawiwirdohan ako doon sa term na. No, I find it weird because, you know, testing, if you test now and you are checked now, you might be okay for the next 24 hours, or if you stay indoors isolated, you'll be okay. But the minute you're out there riding a motorcycle exposed to different people and passengers, then that's not going, you know, testing is just a current state of health at the time of testing. That's no guarantee. So parang, ano yung point behind that?
Actually, tama po kayo dyan. The second that you leave the hospital, pwede po kayo makontract ng virus. I mean, that's why katulad po po ng sabi ng UP College of Public Health when we were doing the protocols together with them and also in partnership with the government, there's no one silver bullet. It's really a set of different health standards. No, the initial precaution really is just to test, just to ensure that they are clean. No, at least hindi po sila sigurado tayo na hindi po sila positive. Pero meron po rin yung health declaration that's embedded in the app. On a daily basis, the drivers need to submit this and they need to tell us what they're feeling. Ganun din po yung pasahero bago mag-book, naka-embed din po sa app yung health declaration. Ngayon, hindi po gagana yung app kung yung driver po ay masama yung pakiramdam. And of course, there are repercussions. But apart from this po, that's the reason why we have a throng or various sets of healthy precautions or health standards that we follow. This includes the wearing of the face shield, essentially that's the helmet, the face mask and the barriers, contactless payment o cashless po tayo, and so on and so forth. So this combination of different health standards po or precautions is really what manages or mitigates the transmission of the virus. It's really up to the regulators and to monitor and up to us operators to ensure compliance of the drivers. So we're confident naman po, sir. Naman bago po ang Angkas, yung habal-habal talagang hindi po safe yan and ginawa po nating safe. This is no different in the time of COVID. So we are confident that our drivers are well trained, they're professional, and they're ready and very excited to go back on the road and serve the public again.
Yeah, hindi pa kayo lumalabas, so I'm assuming you must be doing surveys, random surveys, to get a pulse of your customers. Kasi when you said contactless payment, well, I mean, to be fair, yung mga Pilipino, lalo na kayo mga bata, you're already there. It's just guys like me na medyo, we still like the feel of our money. So medyo, pero I just wrote in my column for today that the latest national irritant is the contact tracing requirement. Kasi paulit-ulit yung contact tracing. Diyan ba sa Angkas, meron na ba kayong system where I can enroll, have my account with you, para lahat ng data nasa inyo na, pati yung aking transactions, payments, and contact tracing, para one time na lang na sasakay na lang, bubuk na lang at sasakay na lang ako?
Tama po yan. I mean, we're not pen and paper, so hindi po yan po ulit-ulit at naka-cookies po yan. No? But the health declaration po is a very quick health declaration naman po that they do. I mean, we're expecting them to, in the morning, to go to work and at home to go back home. No? So in between that time, they could be feeling differently. So there's a very, very simple few checklists on that health declaration. But it's also records all of your travel history, and we have a data sharing agreement with the government to be able to provide that list in case something does happen. Now, I worked on contact tracing myself, together with the NDF in terms of rolling this out. Now, it's a very complicated system. It has to be integrated to the laboratory. So that's also in the works. No? We're currently integrating to the contact tracing app to ensure na automatic na po lahat to. In the meantime, we have to manually or digitally input the health declaration. But this is very, very simple. It's not intrusive at all, nor is it the irritation that you're thinking of, and we do understand that.
Now, last question, George, yung helmet, kasi not every, kasi a lot of people go to Angkas because it's an affordable alternative, quick, safe, affordable. Pero pag biglang kailangan ko nang bumili ng sarili kong helmet, pagkatapos syempre yung DTI sasabihin siya, hindi pwedeng basta-basta helmet. Kailangan yung talagang merong rating. What is the sentiment of the customers? Are they willing to do it?
Yes, generally po, majority of them. We did a survey actually. 2/3 of them are willing to buy their own helmet because they want to invest first in open air ventilation. And it's point to point. There's no terminals, no congregation. So yung po talaga yung very, very big advantage sa motorcycle taxi, apart from it being efficient, through traffic. Now, our helmets, we have a helmet program that provides helmets for free with certain conditions to our customers. customers, but we've also partnered with several helmet providers. No? So because we do bulk buying with them, and we're able to secure volume, nabaksak po namin yung cost ng helmet. It's as low as 600 pesos. So it's not too restrictive if you think about using it on a daily basis for your daily commute. No? So hindi naman po ganun kabigat, and that helmet is already ICC, no, with the proper seal and standard.
Ay, mabuti naman. Well, thank you, George. Kasi alam mo, yung mga kaibigan kong nagmumotor, sa bagay, naku, mga nag-iinarte ang mga yan. 60,000, 50,000 na helmet.
Mga Louis Vuitton po yun ng helmet.
Ipokpok ko sa ulo nila yung helmet nila. Bukol sila. In any case, thank you, George. And we wish you all the best. And yung sabi ko nga kanina, I hope that all of these changes will bring about a unity in the industry. Wala nang mga kanya-kanya, tulungan na kayong lahat, tayong lahat, to bring about a better economy, a better, safer place for our commuters. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much, Cito. Good morning and mabuhay po kayo.
Okay, yan po si Ginoong George Royeca, Chief Transport Advocate ng Angkas. Puntahan naman natin ang Vice President for Corporate Affairs ng Joyride. Palagay ko nung binata ito, ang hilig nito mag-joyride. Si Noli Eala, mahilig. Good. Alam ko, ikaw Noli, mahilig ka siguro mag-joyride ng bata ka, kanya ka pumasok sa joyride.
Kuya Cito, mana lang ako sa'yo, kaya ako sa joyride.
Anyway, pinapatawa lang kita kasi alam ko naman, napakalaking challenge. Kumbaga, kayong mga motorcycle hailing company, para kayong nagdaan sa butas ng karayom. What has your experience been like trying to get Joyride back on the road?
Nakakatuwa ho yung aming karanasan, Cito, no? Because as you know, we were not even finished with the initial pilot run, and napigil ang pilot run ng pandemya. So we had to evolve, we had to pivot because many people, many riders depended on Joyride for their livelihood. So we had to pivot our business, and we went into the delivery space, the last mile delivery space. And awa ng Diyos, we are now one of the top delivery app providers. And because of our experience in that delivery space, lahat po ng aming nagawa dyan, ngayon ma-apply na namin dito sa motorcycle taxi. So talagang pag nagsara ang isang bintana, may nagbubukas pong pintuan, and we're very happy that nakapaghanda ho kami mabuti para dito sa muling pagpasisimula ng motorcycle taxi.
Okay, kanina nadinig mo naman siguro si George at sabi ko nga, dalangin ko, tigil na yung inggitan, hiritan, etc., yung selosan, kasi kailangan tayong lahat magsama-sama. Iba na itong COVID pandemic na ito. No? Ngayon, kayo naman, how many riders are you going to basically send out under this testing or extension of this pilot test of the DOTR LTFRB ba yun?
Yes. Well, as mentioned, this is just a resumption of the pilot study that was initiated in December, where we were allocated 15,000 bikers, or riders in Metro Manila, 5,000 in Cebu, and about 1,000 or a little over 1,000 in Cagayan de Oro. And we are ready again to send out all of our bikers. In fact, we've begun to reorient our bikers. More than 8,000 have already been activated, are ready to go, and we are continuing with our reorientation program in Metro Manila and in Cebu. Ika nga, Cito, we're abundantly ready and thoroughly prepared for this restart. We're just very happy that binigyan kami ng pagkakataon. We're just also, of course, waiting for the official guidelines. Maswerte nga si kasamang George na alam na niya yung guidelines. Kami hindi pa namin alam kasi officially it has not been released to the LTFRB. So we're hoping that we can get this within the week. But nonetheless, because of the media reports, we have begun to prepare, and so far so good. I think we should be just in time pagka na-approve na yung actual guidelines na ibibigay sa amin ng LTFRB.
Okay, apparently things have changed because when I first interviewed you as VP for Joyride, natatandaan ko noon, ano pa lang, testing, pinag-uusapan pa lang, nagte-training pa lang kayo. Ngayon, meron ng shield, kailangan pa ng helmet, kailangan pa ng RT-PCR, kailangan ng contactless payment, kailangan ng contact tracing. Do you have any idea, Noli, of how much added cost this has been to start up per unit? Meaning, per driver, how much is the startup cost for a company like Joyride?
Well, lahat ng sinabi mo, Cito, is correct. No, we obviously have had to shoulder a lot of the new protocols that are required by the IATF. More than the the testing, more than the shield that we have to prepare, more than it's really the development of our mobile app that has been quite costly for a company that is internet based and in the digital space. No, as you well aware, we have also created a virtual wallet in our mobile app now, to make sure that we are able to answer the requirement of cashless payments. No, I think we are the only mobile service provider, or rather ride-hailing app, that has a virtual wallet, for motorcycle taxi. And this is something that we are very proud of, because again, as I said, nagsimula kami sa delivery service nung nag-pivot kami, so nakapaghanda kami for this particular time. But everything else, in fact, Cito, ito yung aming helmet na ipamimigay na namin sa mga pasahero. As you can see, this is ICC. There is a sticker there. That is within standard. This is for a lady, kaya kulay pink. We have one for a male na kulay blue. This is part of our, again, pagtalima, pagsunod namin sa mga requirements na wala nang hiraman ng helmets, and we have created what we call a passenger helmet program, where ito ipamimigay namin na libre if they will open an account with Joyride. No, hindi namin i-charge to. Everything that they put in our account will be consumable. Hindi to babayaran nila, but this is part of the benefits, no?
I mean, that's great, no? Pero alam mo, baka mamaya madali na naman kayo ng unfair competition yan, ha? Para kayong Pepsi at Coke na naman dyan. Mag-iingat tayo, ha? Pero alam mo, in all seriousness, because okay, you're giving away those helmets. According to George, those things cost roughly around 600 plus, 600 pesos per helmet. Tapos yung yung shield ninyo, mga 500 pesos, RT-PCR, maswerte ka na kung 3,000 kung pakyawan. There's a lot of money, pero how confident are you that this time around, the LTFRB, the DOTR, has had a better appreciation of motorcycle hailing operations? Kasi noon, parang lahat ng makausap ko na tiga DOTR, parang kinamumuhian kayo. Nako, puro unsafe yan, puro problema, ganito. Ngayon, parang, sige, nagbago tayo sa COVID-19. How confident are you that it will be legitimized?
We're very, very confident, Cito, no? And I think this is with the help of everyone else. In the last 5 months, the Committee on Transportation of the House has been calling constant hearings, wherein we have been able to, I think, justify the basis for legislation for the legalization of the motorcycle taxi service. No, and I think this pilot run is principally and precisely for that purpose. No, we continue to gather data that will support the safety, reliability, affordability, and efficiency of the motorcycle taxi service. No? And so far, I think many experts, both medical and motoring experts, have said that the motorcycle taxi service is safe for passengers, no, for as a public utility. Even in the midst of this pandemic, meron kaming sinight na mga scientific journals that have shown that the motorcycle taxi service is even better, a better option because it is outdoors. There are no windows, no ceilings, no doors, and clearly the shield as well as the helmet and the mask are enough protection for the rider and the passenger. So in addition, of course, the safety protocols that have already been implemented during the initial run, I think the MC taxis and the ride-hailing apps will be able to deliver the kind of service that will address the requirements of the riding community.
But do you already have champions? I mean, you mentioned that the Committee on Transport and the lower house or House of Representatives talagang panay-panay para mailabas na yung batas. But a law by itself does not ensure you that the hundreds of millions na ini-invest dyan sa MC taxis will legitimize the industry. Kasi baka mamaya niyan, patulugin lang yan, sasabihin wala pang IRR, etc. And I'm not being a negatron, I'm not being a negatron. I'm just very concerned kasi you guys didn't stop. You guys did not give up. You just kept pushing, giving jobs and operating. And now, meron na naman tayong second round of paasa or pag-asa. Meron na ba kayong mga champions in the Senate, in Congress, even the President? Kasi siya nga yung number one motorcycle rider sa Pilipinas. So you would imagine that he would really push for motorcycle riders.
That's true, Cito. No? I think yung mga nasa Committee on Transportation have really espoused the idea of MC taxi. Si Chairman Congressman Sarmiento, si Egay Sarmiento, has been really supportive of the return of the motorcycle taxi service. We have also been able to discuss this with the office of Senator Grace Poe and many other congressmen, Senator Onyx Crisologo, Congressman Onyx Crisologo, Congressman Precious Castelo, and many others who have been very supportive. But more than that, I think, Cito, it is the track record of the pilot study. We have presented to the committee as well as to the LTFRB our own accident report, and this is minuscule. It is almost insignificant because it's really been proven that the MC taxi services are safe. Wala pang almost 0.0001, and I think George as well as Francis Juan of Move It will agree with this. We have been able to prove na very safe ang serbisyo ng MC taxi. So napinadala na namin sa Kongreso as well as to the TWG ng LTFRB.
Noli, napag-usapan na ba dyan sa Congress? I'm sure they'll still keep inviting you guys back to the hearings. Napag-usapan na ba dyan yung delegation or designation of a dedicated lane for motorcycles and motorcycle taxis? Kasi parang nandiyan yung debate unless there is a special lane. Because right now, EDSA is even is safer because binago nila yung positioning ng mga bus versus private cars, etc. Pero hindi pa rin na-establish yung lanes for motorcycles, for bikes, and MC taxis. Napag-usapan na ba yan sa Congress?
Actually, may mga transport groups na nag-bring this up already, yung nagsalita na tungkol dyan. Particularly with bike lanes, Pero yung sa MC taxi, hindi pa masyadong nababalangkas, hindi pa napag-uusapan. Merong isang advocate, transport advocate na nagdanggit nito And kami naman sa Joyride, we're very supportive of this. No, we feel that anything that would enable the motorcycle taxi service to be safer, including the motorist na mga gumagamit ng ating mga kalsada at lansangan, ay aming susuportahan. No? So, as far as that is concerned, kung meron mang maging ganyang klaseng patakaran, kami tatalima, Cito. No? In fact, I think the fact that we have a big number of riders that are able to traverse streets and roads that ordinarily big delivery vans or cars cannot traverse, I think makes it even particularly favorable to us to have a provision or a law that will say that dito lang kami pupunta, dito kami dadaan para lalong lumuwag pa ang traffic sa metro.
You know, that's a good point that you raise, Noli, no? Because I think the delivery transport system industry is changing. Kasi marami ngayon sa atin, ayaw na natin magdaan ng matagalan katulad sa mga packages. Yung customer na nagsasabi, hindi, ipa-grab mo na lang, ipa-joyride mo na lang, o ipa-angkas mo na lang. Kasi ayoko maghintay kung i-truck pa ninyo o yung pinakamalaki na nga lang na na-deliver dito sa bahay ko, washing machine. Pero other than that, puro talaga mga motorsiklo na nagde-deliver. So it is another point that maybe you want to bring up with Egay Sarmiento, who's also been on the show. Kasi nagbago na So if much of the delivery of human and material is done by motorcycle, we really need a special lane. Thank you very much, Noli.
Thank you very much, Cito. Thank you for the invite. Mabuhay ka.
Okay. Thank you very much, and more power to Joyride, to Angkas, to Move It. Tayo po magbe-break at pagbalik naman natin, wag naman niyo akong sumbatan Medyo pag-usapan naman natin. This is for your education, for your awareness. Kasi kuminsan po, nilalait-lait natin yung mga iba-ibang industry. Parang ini-stab yung mga nagbababoy, mga backyard. O ngayon, ang presyo ng baboy, 300. May mga tao siguro, ay naku, mag-aasawa na lang ako magbababoy. Ang lakas pala ng kinikita ng magbababoy. Hindi naman po, no? Pero katulad dito sa Sabong, tinatawag yung sugarol, biglang malaman ninyo, industriya pala yan. Billion-billion, hindi lang pala pustahan at patayan yan. Okay, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we will talk to Martin Escolin, one of the premier game fowl breeders in the Philippines, here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda, and kung nakikita nyo, napapangiti ako. Kasi, alam nyo, when I introduce a guest, it is usually based on a material that our team Agenda has produced or researched, and medyo aware naman sila. Kasi more often than not, we feature news people or issues. And here, with our next guest, ang introduction lang, one-liner lang Owner of Green Country Game Farm. Parang natatawa ako kasi evidently it is reflective of the fact that not much is known about the national sports of sabong or national pastime noon, ng mga panahon namin, which is sabong. It is called the gentleman's game kasi doon po sa sabong, magpupustahan, you make bets by the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and there are no tickets, there are no stubs, there are no receipts. You know, it's all hand signal. It is all word of honor. And if you so much as make a mistake not to pay up, well, sorry, buddy, what happens to the chicken inside the pit happens to you. In any case, our next guest is not just the owner of Green Country Game Farm. He is the national endorser of BMEG Premium Feeds, BMEG Feeds, and he is one of the most respected, well-known cockfighter breeders in the Philippines. At talaga pong, nako, kahit saan pumunta ito, kilala siya. He travels all over the Philippines teaching Filipinos about the sport and about the livelihood. Kasi livelihood po ito. Let's bring in Martin Escolin. Good morning, Martin. Ang gwapo.
Good morning po.
Huwag mo naman akong pinopo, sir. Mabuti na yung nagkakaliwanagan. No? Kasi, Martin, alam mo, na-interview ko minsan si Games and Amusement Board Commissioner Baham Mitra. And medyo, nagsentimiento siya sa katotohanan na hindi naiintindihan. Many people don't understand that sabong, game fowl breeding is an industry and is big business. Now, ikaw, anong province ka ba, Martin?
Roa City po, Capiz.
Okay, sa Capiz. So, okay. Ang kilala kasi for cockfighting is Negros. Pero Roa City, hindi masyado. Kilala kayo for seafoods. Paano nangyaring napasok ka sa sabong?
Yes, sir. Nung mali pa po ako, actually, yung naglaruan namin is gagamba. And one time, yung driver namin, nagpadala yung brother niya ng manok. Then, nung sasakyan namin nun is a brand new car. Then, nag-reflect yung, yung itsura ng manok dun sa kotse. Then, sinabong ng manok yung na-aware ako, ba't ganon? Parang galit yung manok dun sa kotse. Next-explain sa akin ng driver namin na sabong ito, gito. Then, pinaharap niya sa mirror yung manok. Nakita ko yung hakel na bumubukas, natuwa ako. So, that's the time na na-introduce ako sa pagmamahal.
Okay, pero natuwa ba yung nanay, tatay mo? Because many people look down on sabong. Akala nila yung mga nagsasabong o nag-aalaga ng pangsabong ay mga sugarol. Yung magulang mo, ano ba sabi sa'yo regarding that? Or misis mo, for instance?
Yung misis ko po, nung nakilala niya ako, alam niya na nakabete talaga ako. Then yung mga parents ko, yung father ko before na parang ayaw niya kasi doon nga papunta sa sugal. So yung passion namin is yung mag-alaga, hindi yung pagsusugal. So by that time, actually nakaganda pa nung miss ako, yung yaya ko. Siyempre pagigising sa school, hindi ako magising. Sabihin lang, oy, nangitlog yung manok mo. Tayo kagad sa kama. Pumunang para i-check.
Okay. Ngayon, ayan, itong mga bata ko, pinakita na naman, nagsasabong, mga hindi yan Texas, mga mga asil yan. In any case, Martin, matanong ko lang, no? Kasi can you help people understand? Paki-explain mo nga, no? Gaano kalawak itong industriya ng pagsasabong? Kasi ikaw, endorser ka ng BMEG Integra Feeds. So obviously, lumalakad ka, paano mo ine-explain sa mga Pilipino na ito ay hanap buhay, hindi ito sugal?
Honestly po, may part po talaga ng sugal ito. Pero yung livelihood po napakalaki. Marami po tayong trabaho na nabibigyan. Kasi po pag inalis natin tong sabong sa Pilipinas, marami pong magugutom na pamilya dito. Like for example, sa farm ko, ang employee ko na tao is 30.
30?
With family po yun.
Okay.
Yes, sir. 30 ang employee sa akin with family.
Mhm.
So, biruin po yun, pag natanggal yun, wala na silang trabaho, saan sila pupunta. Which is, yung mga talent nila is pagmamanok din.
Mhm. Okay, and then ang mga supplies. Go ahead, go ahead.
Then, yung katulad po kaya ngayon, pandemya, nahirapan po talaga kami mga breeder. Like, wala kami sales, konti lang. Yung ibang breeder, talagang nag-push na yung farm. Hindi na nilang kayang i-support.
Mhm. Okay, so meron kang 30 families na nakatira sa farm mo. Gaano ba kalawak yung farm mo? Ilang hektarya ba yan?
Sir, yung isang farm ko, yung dito sa bahay, is around mga 3 hectares. Then sa bundok, mga 15 hectares.
Okay.
So,
And-
all around mga 18.
18 hectares. No, common na ba yan sa mga, kasi syempre ako naintindihan ko naman, Martin, ano, pero yung mga viewers natin, hindi rin naintindihan na yung mga farms na sinasabi natin sa Sabong ay ekta-ektarya. Pangkaraniwan, gaano kalaki ang mga or regular farms?
Sir, yung pag natin matawag na backyard around 2 to 3 hectares up.
Mhm.
Yun na yung mga large farm. So
That lahat?
yung
Oh.
backyard po marami.
Okay. Okay, ngayon doon sa industry naman kasi hindi ba taon-taon merong tinatawag na yung Game Fowl Expo, akala ng tao nagbebenta lang kayo ng manok doon, milyon-milyon pala ang palitan ng pera doon sa Game Fowl Expo na yon, kasama pa yung mga produkto. You always join these expositions. Is it a good business move para sumama dyan sa mga expo na yan?
Yes, sir. Actually, all products that involves in game fowl, pwede natin exhibit dun sa Game Fowl Expo. Like yung mga meds and feeds, then mga accessories. Marami mga individual na nagtagumpay dun sa pagsasali nila sa expo para malaman na kung ano yung produkto nila, and then para ma-familiar din yung mga taong nangangailangan.
Mhm. Okay, ngayon ikaw ba kilala mo ba yung mga companies? Kasi akala ng iba dyan puro backyard lang, pero may mga malalaking kumpanya katulad yung Bimeg. Gaano katagal mo na bang kasama yan? Tapos di ba may mga San Miguel Animal Product, meron pa yung ano ba yun, Thunderbird yata. Siyempre alam mo dito lahat kasali, wala naman akong pipiliin dito, no? Pero para lang maintindihan ng tao, ano-ano yung mga kumpanyang sumasama dito sa ganitong mga negosyo?
Yes, sir. Yung mga usually feed company like Big is under San Miguel. And then, meron pang iba, yung mga Salto, and Thunderbird. So, yan po yung mga malalaking kumpanya na kasali dito sa game fowl industry.
Mhm. Sa tansya mo, Martin, yung bentahan lang ng manok, manok pa lang, aabot ba ng hundreds of millions ang bentahan ng manok sa Pilipinas na pansabong?
Sir, hindi lang baka sir, billion pa.
Aha.
Hindi ko billion, sir. Sa dami ng breeding. Sir, malalaman natin. Meron kasing mga organization na nagbaban ng manok. So doon natin malalaman kung ilan yung population ng stags na napoproduce yearly.
Mhm.
Like World Pitmaster Cup and pigba, yung bakbakan
Mhm.
and digmaan. So doon re-register yung mga banded stags kung ilan na po-produce per year ang mga manok.
Okay.
So, ano po
Pagkat
sir, marami talaga eh.
Mhm. So maabot ng bilyon kasi magkano ba kwento mo nga no yung mga ka-level mo magkano ba ang bentahan ng mga pansabong anong edad magkano at saka kung inahin kasi alam mo yung inahin na alam namin pangkaraniwan 45 days yung ano yung piniprito yung iba hindi nila alam yung mga presyo ng mga pansabong na yan kasi marami nagtataka bakit mas mahal mo pa yung manok kaysa sa akin.
Sir, yung average ng isang stag is around 6,000 to 8,000. Doon po sa mga well-known breeders yan. So, sa mga backyard, sir, around 4,000 to 6,000 siguro, sir, yung benta nila. So, like me, sir, nagpupunta ako ng around 3,000 stags a year. So, marami pong breeder na like malalaki, yung large scale, marami rin kami. So, yun sir, nauubos yun every year.
Nauubos every year yung sinasabing napoproduce mo 3,000 stags. Kung i-average mo na lang ng 8, nako di ano 2.4 ba yun? Medyo marami-raming pera nga naman yun ano. In any case, okay. So pero ano ang gusto mong malaman ng mga nanonood, nakikinig so that they have a better understanding and maybe a little respect for sabong kasi yung sabi sa akin ni Baham Mitra medyo nakakalungkot nga naman Sabi niya bro, nagpunta ako dun sa NEDA, nagpunta ako dun sa mga government officials, hindi sila makapaniwala that it is a legitimate industry, that it is generating billions of pesos in exchange, etc. Ano ang gusto mo lang malaman ng mga viewers natin tungkol sa sabong?
Sir, sir, meron mo kasing iba-ibang klaseng category to So, yung ibang nagsasabong sa sports gambling. Yan yung mga walang pupunta sa sabungan, pupusta, yun sila. So, sir, yung marami dyan is yung nag-aanahan ng manok, then yung livelihood nila yun. Ibenta nila, then after the next year, pati sila ng palaki, dadagdagan nila yung farm nila, yung size ng farm nila. Depende, pag maganda ang results ng breeding, dadagdagan na naman nila. So, lumalaki sila.
Okay. In any case, Martin, salamat sa oras mo ngayong araw at natutuwa ka ba na pumayag na yung IATF na magbalik ng sabong pero walang audience, walang sigawan, walang trabisya?
Yes, sir. Then, sir, may mga sabong na ngayon dito sa amin, may mga sa ibang town, open na ang sabong pero walang audience. Pari, lalagyan na nila ng like parang 3 persons per entry.
Aha. So puro derby, hindi wala na yung ulutan, parisan, puro derby lang.
Puro derby, sir, then fixed bet 'yon. Para wala nang hindi na magtagal yung wala sisigaw, fixed bet tapos bibitaw na lang agad yung
Ayun, okay. So medyo nagkakaroon kayo ng pag-asa kasi nga naman kung ikaw katulad mo 3,000 stags o roosters ang napoproduce mo at malaking pera ang inaasahan mo para mabayaran mo, masweldoan mo yung 30 mga empleyado at mga pamilya nila, kailangan talaga umandar ulit yung ekonomiya ng sabong. Anyway, Martin, maraming salamat. Alam ko medyo mahihain tao ka. Para naalala ko tuloy yung isang PBA player na mahihain magpa-interview kasi kanya lang ikaw ang kilala kong respetadong magsasabong at maraming salamat sa oras mo, Martin.
Thank you rin po.
Okay, that's Martin Escolin. Kind of like pulling tooth out of a lion because Martin is a very private, reserved person. Naku halos hindi mo madinig, umiimik yan pag nakikita ko. I see maybe once or twice a year. But it's so hard to approach him kasi alam niyo po pag pumunta kayo dun sa mga Game Foul Expo na yan kasi nakakasabay ko sila pag ako naman ay nagtuturo ng pagbababoy o mga maling gawain sa pagbababoy pag kami namamasyal with BMEG namamasyal and transparent naman po tayo no. I am a volunteer lecturer of BMEG Feeds kasi gusto natin makabangon yung mga nasa nayon mga probinsya and also for them to at least have access to knowledge, information, and experience from people like me, from people like Martin. And that's why we brought Martin onto the program. Pero hindi mo po malapitan makadala si Martin kasi para na ring PBA player yan eh. Pag nalaman ng mga sabongero, mga breeder na si Martin Escolin at saka yung kapatid niya ay nandiyan sa isang lugar, nako dinudumog po yan. Meron ng isang Amerikanong breeder nagsabi sa akin, natatawa siya kasi dito lang daw sa Pilipinas na nagpapa-autograph ang mga Pilipino sa bongero. Sabi niya, I'm a foreigner here, okay, so I win fights, I have good chickens, but never in my life did I imagine that I would be asked for an autograph or selfies by Filipinos. In any case, kung nagtataka po kayo, no, ay baka sabihin nyo, Cito, you are promoting gambling. No, I am promoting livelihood. Martin Escolin pointed out, he has 30 employees whose families are all residing in his farm. I am a backyard breeder of chickens and pigs, and I have the equivalent of 2 families living in my 6,000 square meter facility. Lately itong akin, sila ekta-ektare, ako square meter. In any case, yun po, it's all about kabuhayan. Let's not look down on the livelihood of other people. Let's respect each other. Katulad sinabi ko sa Angkas at sa Joyride and to all the companies. We have to put aside this misconception that in order to be successful, you need to be aggressive, competitive, and putting down others. No. Now we have to lift up each other because that is the only way that our economy and our country is going to recover. When we are a blessing to others, we in turn will be blessed. Okay, thank you. Please continue to watch Agenda. Have a good day. God bless all of you.